And we're live. So say hello to the internet because we're all over the place. So I am Christine Dean, your DFW Networking Diva, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce some of my fellow business owners that are out there and kind of give us some exposure, a little visibility, and let everybody talk a little bit about what they're doing, what they're up to, who their ideal client is, and how they're going to help. So we're just going to keep this totally casual and just have some fun with it. That being the case, let's just introduce ourselves and say hi. So I just said who I am. I'm Rebecca. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I'm Rebecca Lowe, and I live in Frisco, and I actually own several websites that are devoted to Disney collectibles. So some of them are about handbags, some of them are about Disney collectibles in general. But basically, what I do, my ideal client is obviously someone who loves Disney and likes to bring some of that magic home from them after they go to the parks and stuff, and they just love having Disney part of their everyday life. What I do to help people is I actually have a flagship online course that teaches Disney collectors how to get Disney merchandise that are limited edition for retail price before it sells out online, so that they don't have to go to eBay and other third-party sellers to then pay like 3 or 4 times retail price. So that's basically what I do.
I love it. How fun. I know for me, I was like, I love Disney. I admit it. I've been to Disney in California, the one in Florida, and had a blast when the kids, I used to take them every summer. So we're like big Disney fans. I'm like, oh, Disney, tell me more, right? So I know I'm not the only one out there. I'm sure we have other people
I have to show my new mug too.
Oh, let's see.
Perfect for online.
Yes, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
that is right there. That is what it's all about. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, you're on mute. Everybody just says it as course now. It's like the number one saying for 2021 and yeah, moving forward with it. I love it. Thanks, Rebecca, for hanging out with us today. Audrey, tell us a little bit about what you're up to.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Audrey Hamilton. I am from North Carolina. I am a virtual assistant. I run a business called the Entrepreneurial Assistant. The Entrepreneurial Assistant. Blah, blah, blah. So I have a lot of things going on. So while I'm a virtual assistant, I'm also an inspiration coach and a social media manager. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, they actually all do mix together well for me. I work with a lot of startup businesses, and I love to help them to grow more while giving them the opportunity to just have everything at their disposal. So I help set up things. I help give them a little bit of coaching on how to make it work even better. And then I help run their social media if they want me to and stuff. So I've done just about everything under the sun when it comes to this, and it has been really enjoyable. Currently, I am working on a branding course. I just actually launched this earlier this month. It is a branding course, and it'll go into everything that there is to know about branding. And I've been really excited about this. The course won't fully launch until October 1st, but I just opened up the special for it. And then I also create digital products like workbooks and stuff to help entrepreneurs grow and to help keep their business more organized. So that's really me. I love to help people out. I love encouraging others and stuff. So that's basically me.
Awesome, Audrey. And if anybody's ever thought, oh my goodness, I need an assistant, right? This is what we're talking about, virtual assistants. And they have such a broad range of the kinds of skills that they have that they can do, whether it's your social media or putting automations in place or creating things and collaterals for you. I mean, virtual assistants are just amazing. I'm just going to say.
There's just so much we can handle. There's just a ton and stuff, and people are like, oh, what's the difference between a social media manager and virtual assistant? Virtual assistant will get you so much more. They may not be an absolute like pro. They're more of a hands-on everything kind of person, but we're not like the ones who fully like design professional websites or anything like that. But we're the ones that we're your assistant. We help you. So I love it. I absolutely love it. So.
It really is. It's somebody when you're not necessarily ready to hire somebody full time, right? Virtual assistants are right there in a pinch, so it really comes in handy. I love it. And Trey, tell us a little bit about you.
Trey Rush. I own Paytech Plus. I'm a merchant account and energy broker. I've been doing it since 2013. I love to work with small business owners to help make them more profitable. And I do that through reducing some of their expenses and liabilities. Mainly my bread and butter is on the merchant services side, as you know, but everyone else doesn't. My ideal customer has actually shifted a little bit in the last couple of years, and I've primarily focused on service-based businesses. So electricians, plumbers, auto shops, dog groomers, things like that, things where you're providing a service, hair salons. I can do point of sales and inventory and things like that, but it's not really my main focus anymore. I really help business owners either greatly reduce or completely eliminate their cost to take cards. So my average customer saves between $5,000 and $7,000 a year starting out, and that's if their business doesn't grow.
Nice, thank you. You mentioned about how our businesses transform, right? That's a great topic in itself, right there, right? How our businesses transform, where we started at versus what we do now, right? And it's a process where sometimes we find that sweet spot, like for Trey going into those services, right? And that's where he likes us to focus. And Audrey, I'm sure when you started your virtual assistant, right, you started doing these, and next thing you know, right, all these other skills and talents all came together. Right. You may not even started in social media, but that's where one of your areas now that you do really well. Right. And that's kind of what it is with you. Now, Rebecca, you are so focused in on your niche. Did you start out straight up knowing that you wanted to just focus on Disney, or?
No, absolutely not. So I actually started out, my background is actually, I'm a product manager in technology. That's actually my career has been built on product management and helping create websites and applications specifically for travel related companies. I started off with just having a blog that I did for fun 5 years ago. Actually, no, it's been 6 years. 6 years ago, that was just about Disney handbags. And because I collect Disney handbags and I love them, so I was like, okay, I'm going to create a blog about it. And then it turned into a business, 3 years down the road. And then I realized, I can actually make this like a side hustle. And then about a year and a half ago, I was able to quit my full-time job and focus solely on this Disney aspect of my business, which is really, really great. In order to reach more people, I was like, okay, well, I have had the whole handbag thing down, but what else can I do? How else can I help people? And I just saw that there was this need of people who were trying to buy things and they would miss out on them, and then they would have to spend all this money on eBay to like buy it after it's sold out. So I was like, you know what, I can help these people. I've learned a lot over the years just running my own blog, from how to buy things really quickly, and then how to know when new things are coming out and all that stuff. So and that's just how it sort of evolved by itself. So yeah, totally. My business had that transformation, even though I didn't, it was not how I started out, and it's something different now. So.
Yeah, the evolution of our businesses and what we can offer for our clients. And really, when you think about your ideal client, and we're problem solvers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really where we're all falling into, as problem solvers. Take a moment and think about when you've solved a problem for a client, right? What was that problem that you solved, and how did you make that so successful? Because I think a lot of times people like to go, well, how does that work? How does that, what kind of problems can you solve, right? And so just take a minute and think about that. I know for me, when the pandemic hit, I had a client that has a talk show, and all of a sudden he's like, we can't go into the studio. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do everything virtual. He's like, what? All right. We ended up creating a website for him. He's got his own different channels, his own Facebook page, his own LinkedIn, right? So he's got all the channels now that didn't exist before, but he's like, I've had these, I've been doing the show for 5 years. I'm not going to just let it go because of COVID. Oh no. Right. So we put systems in place, and, he was so happy and thrilled. One of my biggest fans, and I'm one of his biggest fans, right? But that's what happens when you can solve people's problems, right? You really help develop those relationships with your clients. So think about it for a second, some problems that you may have solved. So anybody?
I'll go. I mean, I have a recent client that was referred to me. It's actually a newspaper in East Texas, and they're 120 years old. And that I say that to say, when I first talked to them, they were moving their entire operation to the other side of town, and they run credit cards for, people that want to take out ad space or, various different reasons. And they were using a 15-year-old tabletop terminal, that you would see at a gas station like a while ago. And they don't even take in-person payments. So it's something they didn't even need. And it was busted down and broken. And I was like, guys, we need to get you updated. And I just set them up with a virtual terminal. They log in on the internet. They can log in from anywhere, a phone, a laptop, iPad, doesn't matter. And literally they can put in the credit card information. It saves all their customers' information. So if they need to bill them later for a reason, added invoices. I know it sounds like a pitch here, but these are just like a bunch of things that they didn't even realize that they needed. They didn't even realize were available to them. Reoccurring billing if they want to set someone up on a subscription. Like I took away probably 15, 20 hours of, just manual, tedious data entry, in a matter of minutes. And, that wasn't even why I was referred to them. It was more or less just to get them another machine. That's what they were looking for initially. But after hearing how they were doing things, I suggested this, and thankfully I did, because they're in just a totally different place right now from where they were.
Right. A lot of times business owners, there's so many options, don't even know what they need, right? Because they don't know what the options are. So how are you supposed to pick and choose when you don't know what you can pick and choose from, right? So that's a great example of that. But you really made a difference. Like you said, all those extra hours, you saved them. And that's where it really helps to bring in those professionals, right? Speaking of professionals, Audrey, do you have
I was just about
story?
to say I could completely go with that, because he's talking about all these different programs. That is what I live for. I help put them in programs. I help set up Trello boards. I help set up Airtables. I help set up social media and so many different things that people are just like, how do you do it? I even create some websites, some simpler websites and stuff like that to get links and stuff in there and stuff. And people are like, I don't know how to do this. They're literally like, Audrey, I need help doing this. And then I'll be like, okay, I am your girl. Let's do this. And then I get it done pretty quickly for them. And my clients are very happy. They don't have the hustle of trying to spend hours trying to figure it out and setting it up, and then making mistakes and stuff like that. Then they're like, this isn't what I wanted and stuff like that for their own selves. So I do it, and I'm able to knock stuff out. I help save time, and it helps them out. They are able to trust me. They enjoy it, and they're able to do more things. They're able to focus on different things for their business. So that's what I love to do. That's my biggest problem solving thing. And then I also troubleshoot and stuff. If something's not working right, I do that. I'm like, hey, the main problem solver for businesses. I love it.
That's pretty much your virtual assistant. Yeah, come in there. All right, I got this. Hold on, I got this, right? We get frustrated a lot of times when we're trying to do something we haven't done very often, something that's new to us, learning new programs. So it's nice to have somebody that can kind of give you a hand with that kind of stuff. Because I know if you asked me how to put together that whole merchant services machine, I'd be like, and Trey, hi, what are you doing? Not my area of expertise, right? So it's same thing with programs with Audrey, right? And if I needed to find something that I was looking for, I think Rebecca's our girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you, what client have you helped that you they were so happy that you managed to solve their problem?
Yeah. So I actually don't work one-on-one with clients, but my course is really I would say it's more group, like me and a group of people. But one of the things that I can think of right off the top of my head is one of the problems that I hear from people is that they don't know when new merchandise, like the type of merchandise that they collect, gets released on Disney's website. So for instance, if I collect Mickey Mouse ears, those little headbands that everyone likes to wear, I don't know when that gets released. And then there's all these things on the internet that, I could follow a bazillion social media accounts, but then I just get lost, right? And I don't check any of them. So one of the things that I do in my course is teach people how to get notified of specific items that get released on the Disney website. And then so that way they're able to customize those notifications for themselves, and then they get notified of just the stuff that they want to know about, right? And not just get flooded with social media notifications and all this other stuff. So yeah, that's one of the things that when you listen to people and you hear about their problems, they're so happy when you're able to solve it for them. So yeah, I think it's really key as business owners that we're listening to our clients' problems and then figuring out ways to help them with it, even if it's not something that we may have thought about in the beginning of our business. So yeah.
Well, and I think with networking, we've all probably met so many different people, right? So I always say, if I don't have the answer, I know someone who does, right? And that's the beauty of networking, right? It's putting somebody in the right direction, finding out what they need, and then just shifting them to who can be of help. Because sometimes we're not the answer, right? And that's okay, right? We'll introduce you to somebody else who can be the answer. But for some people, we are the answer. So think about it. Who is it that you really want to talk to? Who do you want to meet? Who is it that you want to meet? Anybody?
For me, like I said, kind of touching base on what we said before, HVAC companies, I'm really focusing on them. They're kind of a perfect demographic. CPAs, accountants, obviously service-based, bookkeepers, anyone that, and that another thing, anyone that works with other small business owners,
Mm-hmm.
I like Audrey. It sounds like you work with a lot of startup or small business owners. Some of them may fit my ideal client. I know a lot of my ideal clients would probably, need to get a little bit more organized. In fact, almost all of them need to get more organized. So could be some potential there for cross promotion, but yeah, it's small business owners that are stuck having to do everything and wear multiple hats. That's where money goes through the cracks, and that's where I can help scoop it back up for them.
Yeah, and you make a good point, right? Not only who your ideal client is, but who's your synergy partner is what I call them. So other people that are working with the same people that you work with, sometimes the best partners, right? You think of mortgage and real estate, right? Your realtors and your mortgage people, they just like this, right? Together. And so that happens a lot with business. So part of you can find your ideal client, but if you can find a synergy partner, you can find a lot more ideal clients. Rebecca, what are you thinking about for who your ideal client is? Because you mentioned you had classes, is that right? Groups?
Yes. Yes, I have an online course that teaches people how to get these limited edition items. So basically what I'm looking for is anyone who's been of course, they're most likely Disney fans. They're people who love going to Disney or love the movies, love the television shows, Disney Plus, all that other stuff. But also that what I find is, I would say my ideal client is someone who's been burned before. Like they've seen something online that they're like, oh my gosh, I love this item, this Disney item. And then they realize it's gone. Like before they even knew it existed, it's already gone and they can't get it, except to pay like 4 times what it was worth when it was first sold. So those are the people that I'm looking for that are frustrated by that whole system and how everything sells out so quickly and everything. And I'm here to help you with that frustration and making sure that you don't ever feel like you have to miss out again. So yeah, that's I would say that's my ideal client. Also, when you're talking about synergy, I would love to partner with anyone who may have those Disney fans in their audience as well, especially like bloggers or YouTubers or anything like that, where they have a pretty good, strong Disney fan base as well. So yep.
Yeah, while you're talking, I'm having flashbacks to these cute little Disney dishes that I saw when I was at Disneyland. And I'm like, yeah, and then they didn't have. I'm feeling you.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows anybody that can help connect Rebecca, feel free, reach out, right? Let's try and do some connections with our ideal clients.
One more thing actually is my largest blog actually is my Disney handbag blog. It's Disney, Dooney, and Burke. It's called DisneyDooney.com, but it's a Disney, Dooney, and Burke guide. So if you like designer handbags and you like Disney, it's something that a lot of people don't know exists. So check it out. DisneyDooney.com is the that blog. So.
I say that sounds addicting, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's how all of this started.
You're gonna need a whole room just to store the bags. I could see this. So this is going to be an issue. Audrey, who's your ideal client? Who is it that you love to work with that you can help the most?
Really, any kind of startup business that's really motivated to actually succeed and push their goals. So I have a problem sometimes with, I like working with startups, but they're not as motivated to get their business going. And there is a large base of people that actually do that. I want the people who's really motivated and who's wanting to actually grow and go further. So I work with coaches, I work with just about anyone. I work with product base, and I can work with crafters and salon owners. Trey, like you said, with cross promoting, I do know some salon owners. I will get your information to them. That way, maybe they might be interested in that, what you offer. And yeah, I don't really have a large Disney fan base. Sorry, Rebecca. I wish I did. I don't. I love Disney. My son loves The Good Dino. He absolutely loves that movie. That's his favorite movie ever.
Awesome.
So, but that would be more my ideal client, is more like business startup businesses that actually really are motivated to actually succeed and they want to go further. So, and then my synergy partners are coaches, networkers, website designers, and really anything else that I cannot really do. Logo designers, I can do some easy logos. If you want a more professional logo, I will be able to lead you to people for that. So I have a large thing there, but yeah, that's what I do, and my synergy partners and stuff. So.
As a marketing coach, I'm kind of the same thing, the jack of all trades, master of none. It's like, okay, I'll dive into this. Okay, now I'll dive in. And one day I might be working on a website. I might be doing connections. I might do an email newsletter, a texting campaign, you know what I mean? In addition to teaching somebody how to do their own podcast. The style, it's all endless, right? There's always something crazy going on that you can help somebody with, because there's so many facets of our business, right? We might know our business well, but we don't always know all the aspects. Right. So as an artist, you might make beautiful paintings, right? You might be able to paint these glorious masterpieces, but you probably don't know anything about credit card processing. You don't know anything about the sales and the niche, right? And who really wants your paintings. You might not know about some of the back office automations you might need in place with Audrey, right? So there's so many different options out there. So we're here to help and support, and that's really what it's about. And we like to network. So that being the case, think about how we can help each other, who we can help. And is there any last words? This is it right here. Last words, everybody. We're just going to go around, whoever, jump in.
Two things. So one thing that I just want to put out there, it kind of piggybacking off like what Audrey said. And another thing that I've noticed is like, you never know where you're going to get a client from. So I used to do two things incorrectly. Number one, I would seek out and only want to network with certain people that I thought were my ideal client. And that worked to a degree. However, 2 or 3 of my biggest, most profitable clients have come from doing face-to-faces with insurance agents that I have no synergy with or business potential with whatsoever, but they referred me to some monster accounts. And that kind of changed my way of thinking. The second thing is that made a huge impact on my business was finding out, kind of going back to that shift earlier, was finding out my ideal client. And one of them was, oddly enough, from one of those referrals that, changed my whole business just because I had that face-to-face. And one of my networking groups says you're only one relationship away from changing your life. Well, it happened to kind of be true. But going vertical specific is something that, you may want to take in consideration. Christina, and my industry, you're kind of taught to kind of like spray and pray, right? Just go out and talk to everybody. But the reality is that a lot of those potential clients may not be the best fit for a multitude of reasons. Whether it be too much time, effort, energy to get them, what they really deserve, or, how much time you're going to have to put into it that could take away from other money-making activities. Like I just found out that doing, restaurants and things like that, although I do them still, it's just not who I'm going to seek out. That's helped me a tremendous amount.
That's a good point you made, Trey. Not everybody is your ideal client, right? So really niching in to decide who that ideal client is. And like you said, not everybody's ready to hire and not everybody's ready to get serious, like Audrey mentioned. So it's kind of knowing who your ideal client is and are they ready for you. I always say your ideal client can afford you. Just kind of keep that in mind, right? Because a lot of times people are startups and they're not necessarily ready to hire. They're not ready for you yet, but that happens, right? Final last words. Audrey, you have any final last words?
I feel with finding your target market, it is about, you have to really think about who you are too, what your personalities are and who you work best with. Because Trey, even though you don't have synergy with those people, you guys had to have something in common. You guys had to have some kind of personality lineup that ended up leading you to creating those contacts. And so I believe that it is really mainly about who you are, and then who you want to work with mainly, if you guys match up well. Because you're not going to work well if you're very laid back and someone's always like, go, 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 and stuff like that. It's not going to line up well. You need someone more laid back, and it goes back to you. So.
Yep. Like you said, we do business with those we know, like, and trust. And that's really what you're talking about there, Audrey, right? Somebody we have some kind of connection with. Those are the clients. When you work with a client that you have that rapport with, when I get off a call, I'm like, oh, I feel so energized. Let's go. What's next? Right. And that's just my perspective when you're working within your flow, within your space of you're doing the right thing, doing what you're supposed to be doing. It feels good when you're doing that with the right people. I love it. Rebecca, any final words?
No, I just agree with what you guys have been saying. I think as a business owner as well, not only is it important to know what your ideal client is, but also who you don't want to work with, right? Like there are certain people you definitely don't want to work with, and also things that you don't necessarily want to do. I think especially as as a marketing coach or as an assistant, it's like you need to know where you sort of draw the line as to tasks that you definitely hate, and maybe you'll farm those out to somebody else, or outsource that, or you may just not offer it at all, right? So I think that's definitely important to hone in on, is like where's that line for you? What completely drains your energy, just like the thought of having to do it, right? Or the thought of having to work with those types of people. That's very important when.
Oh, absolutely, Rebecca. You talk about what you like and what you don't like, right? And that's why I tell business owners, what are your sweet spots? And then what do you need to outsource? Because it's just not what brings you joy, right? Just the idea of it, you just dread it. You don't want to do it. It's going to ruin your whole day. Forget it, right? Yeah. Those are working with a certain kind of people, right? And it's worth spending the time to figure out what that is, because it's going to make your day so much more enjoyable. Absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank y'all for coming and hanging out with me today. And this is a new thing that we're doing every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. We're going to do DFW Networking Diva. We're going to connect and just kind of have different topics each week. It's all going to be related to networking in some way, or marketing, or relate to small business ownership or nonprofit. So we'll see what next week brings us, but we're going to have a lot of fun. Feel free to tune in and keep your eyes open for when I'm asking for more people to come hang out with me. It might be a topic that you're interested in. You're more than welcome to come back again. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.